we have to agree that we need a game plan. We need something. And well over 80% of Americans agree that gun laws and restrictions about background checks need to be a little bit stricter.
NANI? Dynamite!
How you guys doing? My name's Heero. This is Identity Booth. Clap it, get excited for a little bit, just for a little bit. All right. How you guys doing? We got some bad news to talk about. I would like to start off with some good news. The good news is, hey, we're at 600 subscribers on YouTube. 601. Clap it. You feel me? That's a bomb-worthy achievement, and that was thanks in part to all the lovely support I got last week. I see y'all on Facebook, man. If you're on Facebook, I need you to come over to YouTube. That's what I really need you. Click that link. I need you to come over to YouTube. If you're on Facebook, I need you to just go ahead and make the jump. Make the jump over to YouTube. But if you really want to show like your love and support, right? You want to prove to me that you was an original. There's that Twitch link, baby. Go ahead, hit that one time. Give it a heart. Give that Twitch link a heart real quick. Because that Twitch link will let you use your phone and still be doing other things on your phone while you listening to me. Because you can support me in the background. We on IG. We on Anchor. I haven't uploaded on Anchor in so long, and they've been talking about paying me. I need to get back to Anchor. I need to get back to the money. Clap it. We talking about recession, being recession proof. 5 things I think you need in a recession. Talking a little money at the end of the show. So come join us. But I appreciate everybody coming through. It's another day in America, so we have to talk. We have to be real, right? We have to be real about what's going on in America and the impact it's having on us. And, you know, we could sit here and talk about the red side says this, the blue side says this, but both sides ain't doing shit. And it ain't shit gonna happen, all right? So if you think that this is the one, it ain't. This is not the one where we dramatically find a way of solving it. And it's gotten to a point where, you know, trying to fix the violence issue in America has become so traumatic for me that I've mentally created a cartoon character to solve it. I have a comic book. You feel me? On my other channel. I wonder if I have it here. Strangers. Let me see. Probably. Yeah. Nope, I don't. But I'll pull it up. I don't give a damn. I have another channel where it's just my comic book. It's just my comic book, y'all. It's my coping mechanism. There it is. Go read the comic book. And there's a character in this comic book. Where his power is called, his thing is called, you know, no weapon against me. And his thing is his family died due to gun violence, and he just his only soul arc, his sole purpose in the comic book, he doesn't say anything, he doesn't do anything, he just goes around destroying guns. He doesn't hurt people, he doesn't want to hurt people, but he will knock your ass out in order to get your weapon from you. And that's his whole thing. And because of his ability, no weapon against me, no, literally, as the Bible verse, and he carries the Bible around. I love this character so much. And I get to do so many interesting things with him. But literally, the gist of his character is, in itself, no weapon against me. So he just goes around taking people's weapons and destroying them. And that's it. And because of his ability, no weapon formed against him can hurt him. He's impervious to all weapons. You could drop a nuclear bomb on him and his clothes would disappear, but he and himself would be perfectly fine. In fact, he wouldn't even, his ability is so significant. This is my coping mechanism for all the violence in the world. His ability is so significant, he doesn't even affect, his abilities aren't even like, so a shockwave, that's not a weapon formed against him. That would be the result of a weapon formed against him, though. Even the shockwave wouldn't hurt him. Meaning he wouldn't even be stunned. No blowback, no nothing. But the catch is he's the only one that this happens to. So it's a great arc that I'm excited to start back up in the comment. We got 16 people watching. Hey, how y'all beautiful people doing? I'm happy y'all here, but it's on bad terms. But hey, maybe we can get some good news. Put some good news in the chat. I need it, especially today. Uncle Sam found my punk ass. IRS got my ass, caught me slipping. So if you want to donate, that'd be great too. But in all actuality, the situation that's going on right now in Texas is kind of mind-numbing, and let's just get straight into it, right? Like, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it, but the situation is just out of control. It's literally out of control. And what we're looking at here is this, right? So let's just get the TLDR. Actually, this would probably be a better TLDR here.
Hi there again, Lester. So we're getting two pieces of information more from Governor Abbott. And the first thing is that the governor says that it appears two responding officers were struck by rounds, although they have no serious injuries. So again, two responding officers were hit by gunfire, but they have no serious injuries. The second piece of information, Lester, we're hearing from the governor is that he says it's been reported that the suspect shot his grandmother right before entering the school. Again, according to the governor, he says that the suspect, 18 years old, shot his grandmother before entering the school. It's not yet clear how that shooting may have been related to him opening fire on these children inside the school. But again, that's two pieces of information, Lester, that two officers were hit by gunfire but do not have serious injuries. And the governor says that the suspect shot his grandmother before entering that elementary school 80 miles west of San Antonio. Lester.
I was scribbling some notes when we were playing part of the governor's remarks. I just want to make sure I heard it correctly, that the suspect had a handgun and a long gun?
At this point, Lester, and I'm reading a transcript of what Governor Abbott said. He said that he had a handgun and that it appears that he may have had a rifle, although at the time the governor said that had been unconfirmed. So we do know, according to the governor, again, that he had a handgun and he may have had a rifle, Lester.
Right. And then if I could just clarify also, was the governor quoting a report that the grandmother had been shot, or was he reporting it as
What
fact?
I'm being told here, it has been reported that the subject shot his grandmother right before entering the school. Again, this information coming in, as you have said, in drips and drabs, and we're waiting to find out more information about, what led up to this, and whether there was in fact some sort of chase that the suspect may have been trying to escape from. Again, all those details part of this massive investigation, which involves not just local authorities, but obviously state authorities and federal officials as well. The governor saying that the Texas Department of Public Safety is there on the scene. We have seen Border Patrol agents there as well in this town, Uvalde, Texas, a town of about 15,000 people, just 60 miles east.
Thanks for watching our YouTube.
Shut up. There's a lot of information. This happened today. There's so much information going on. There's questions about this girl right here, and this was a person that he contacted an hour before. This was his IG page, which is just him. So it seems like his social media page is pretty blank. It's very interesting to see the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and how did all of this happen. Obviously, as more information comes out, we'll get to know more about them, but let's learn a little bit about what happened. So 14 students killed, 1 teacher dead, including the grandmother. So there's conflicting information here. Was the grandmother a teacher, or does that mean there was 16 people plus him, 17 people killed in this event? That's still not very
clear. Worst
clear.
American grade school attacks in Sandy Hook in Connecticut almost a decade ago. It comes as mass shootings plague law enforcement across the U.S. Once again tonight, authorities searching for a motive in a crime where there can be no good reason. Investigators tonight say 18-year-old high school student Salvador Ramos murdered his own grandmother today and then came here to Robb Elementary School in the town where he lived.
And I gotta say something. This is when I was getting my master's in forensic pathology. This was a phenomenon. When the shooter kills immediate loved ones, is their total intention not to return from that fight. That is the worst case scenario. As bad as this situation is, when they kill a loved one prior to starting their massacre, it is almost a guarantee that they don't plan on returning. They will either save one for themselves or go out in a blaze of their own crazy psychotic glory. So killing grandma, that's a red flag. To kill her, that's the second worst thing to when an elderly person dies, they die and you can put a smile on their face. Someone lives to be 99 and they go in their sleep, you throw a party for that person. But watching an elderly person, watching any person for that matter, lose their life before they're ready to go, it's a suffocating thing. And I don't think there's a few understanding here. There's one thing I want to dispel right now. The pandemic isn't causing this. It is nice to know that because of a global pandemic where million people plus people died, no one was at least being shot in schools. I remember when Republicans were making that like a talking point, like, hey, I'm just happy there's no school shootings right now, right? I'm happy there's no school shootings right now. And that was their pitch. That was their talking point. Like, they were excited about that. They were ecstatic about that without realizing it's because we have a pandemic. But it's crazy. That was a relief people had. I had a relief from that. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, yo, what more do you need? What more do you need? So I want that to be dispelled. People were doing mass shootings prior to. What up, Ron Wood? I appreciate you coming through. Clap it up. Thanks for joining the conversation. I need some good news. Put some good news in the chat, please. So that's one thing I want to dispel. Two, I don't know. I don't know what type of hater you gotta be. I don't know what type of hater you gotta be to snuff out a kid. Because kids are defenseless. They require our protections as adults. So to snuff out a kid is truly a demonstrous thing to do, right? Let's dive more into this fable.
Ramos had a pistol and possibly a rifle, according to authorities who have provided very few other details about the mass shooting.
And at this point, the investigation is leading to tell us that the suspect did act alone during this heinous crime.
A Border Patrol agent among the first law enforcement officers to arrive at Robb's school shot and wounded by the gunman. Police apparently then shot and killed the gunman himself, bringing the attack to an end. But not before Ramos managed to shoot students and teachers inside the building. The school is attended by 600 children, all in 2nd, 3rd, or 4th grade. So the victims are young. Several children and adults are said to have been wounded during the attack and still being treated.
When parents drop their kids off at school, they have every expectation to know that they're going to be able to.
But and this guy, I can't really take anything that Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, I can't take anything he says very seriously. This is a person who looks like he's being genuine, but he has sat by idly while his state has been under siege of mass shootings. It's mind-boggling how many mass shootings have taken place in Texas, and this monster sits here and puts on this face to say, like, oh, thoughts and prayers. There's a very tragic realization that's going to come to a lot of people like this, which is what happens when, someone loses their child, their loved one, because of your inaction, and they bring that action to you. I constant, and it's hard, and people will like batter me for this, and it's like, but what do you expect me to do? One look, just one cursory look at other developed countries and nations, and you'll see very quickly when shit like this happens, they nip that shit in the bud. Oh, what you wanna be violent? You wanna have action? Nah. New Zealand, 10 plus people died, took all guns. Don't like it, leave. And I'm not saying that's something we have to do here. As a gun owner, I don't think I would willingly give up my gun. But we have to agree. We have to agree that we need a game plan. We need something. And well over 80% of Americans agree that gun laws and restrictions about background checks need to be a little bit stricter. There's no reason why someone who made a death threat, we're talking about Peyton from last week, who made a death threat to his high school colleagues that he will murder them at their graduation, should ever be allowed to buy a gun. There's just no reason for it. So this guy's talking shit. And they have the live show. It's just not too much you can think about here, right? So, like, that's the gist. And for all intents and purposes, we don't know. There's not enough information. There's just not. Right? So what do we do, right? We have to be able to, like, if we can't get the guns from them, this is my proposal, right? Hear me out. I want y'all's opinion on this. This is straight off the top. We need to start identifying bad actors, right? If we can't take the guns from them, if we can't, like, literally, there were officers there, first responders, because the fable they tell you, police will be there. They probably got there within 3 minutes. If that gun had 8 bullets, he could reload in 30 seconds, and pull the trigger, dump all the bullets in 8 seconds. 8, 16, 30. That's under a minute. So we know that the police can't protect us. We know that the legislators, the laws can't protect us. So what can we do as a people? We need to start identifying these people. We need to actively patrol and look for these people. What type of people are we talking about here? Because they come in many different shapes and sizes. We don't want to be discriminatory here, right? We're looking for traits. We're looking for someone who's broke. Financially in the slums. And this is from a personal perspective. This is not so much from their family perspective. So, for example, Peyton last week, my man's mom and dad worked as engineers, $200,000 each annually. So he wasn't struggling for much, but he himself was broke. Couldn't get into college, having difficult times with this and that. We got to start looking for broke people. Broke people. Another caveat. Too many weapons. They show them off. So that dude who's showing the weapons off on Instagram and Facebook, and he's broke, we got to start just paying a little bit more attention. But that's just not enough. Being broke and having guns. That's two. Add a third layer. Since we know a vast majority of these mass shooters are males, that's another layer. Let's put some more in it. They're bootyless. I'm talking about these incel type dudes, right? These alpha male who project themselves to be strong, tough, don't want any interaction or support, or can't blame all their troubles on women. If they have those three things, they're broke, they're armed, and they're bootyless, they're these incel asses, yo, let's raise a red flag. Let's ask some questions. There's a little bit of hostility in the family. Hey, yo, let's take a closer look. What's their Instagram page looking like? What's their like? There's no reason why you shouldn't be reporting these people. The internet is not that free. We can there's to a large degree, we have to start looking for broke people, and broke people with these gun complex, with these hatred for the world and no interaction. We have to start looking at these people, because those are the people. And there's obviously wrong with it's not just broke people, but this is a combination. These are the traits that I found with a lot of them. They have guns, they're not financially stable, they're males, and they tend to blame all of their issues on women. An hour before this guy went and shot up 14 kids, he was Instagram messaging a girl who's been ignoring him and blocking him. Apparently, he had multiple pages, because the page he last messaged her from only had one image. But there's something, these low educated, like, there's just something about it. Those I guess that's the big five, right? No education, low education, broke, gun nuts, incels, and they're males. But we have to, like, what are you supposed to do? If, like, we can't make the government do anything. 14 kids died, that's not enough. 20 kids. You think 14 kids died is enough? 20 kids died, and that wasn't enough. 20 kids died, and a dude made millions off of calling it fake news. And he's just now getting his comeuppance for it. So it's hard for me to be optimistic or even be, like, resoundingly, like, positive about this. Or even am I being prejudiced? Probably. But am I wrong? Am I wrong? Like, that's why I have to ask, because what we're doing right now isn't working. And I can't become that comic book character I have in my head who's just going to go around taking everyone's guns by force. If there was a character, if that was an option, I would love to see it. But we have to do something. And for me, this is all I can do. This is my contribution to the void. It's tragic. It really is tragic. But as we get to know more about this murderer and the victims, maybe we'll get a clearer picture. Maybe we could have found a way where this violence didn't have to take place. But for the most part, hey, that's my thoughts on it. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on it. Obviously, our condolence goes out to the family, friends, anybody associated with this in a negative light. We feel for you. But as I'm warning our leaders, I'm warning our legislators, I'm warning the people who have lobbied against saving Americans. Somebody is going to be over it. And they will bring that action to you, because that's the only thing that can come from this. You let these people run free and pay their way through lobbyists and all of these things, and then we have these acts of violence. How long before that violence touches one of you? How long before that violence is in your backyard? It's crazy to think about until it happens, but protect yourselves. Be kind to each other, and be on the lookout. These people live amongst us. It's not safe to go grocery shopping no more. I said it last week, and I'll say it again. Before I go shopping at any store, I check what the frequency. Yeah, you go on Google on your phone, it'll tell you the frequency, because Google tracks you, so it knows how many people is going to be in this place at one time. I check to see if it's high volume. If it's going to be a lot of people in there, I'll think about going later. Maybe 1 hour before it closes. I know they hate it as workers, but safety. Before I go into any place, I already know where the exits are. Is this a consequence of me being black? No. It's the consequence of me being American. Living here, at least. But hey, like I said, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's just how it has to be. Hey, you know what, Ron Wood, you make a great point. If I could speak clearly to it, obviously this isn't like you're right. From that point, it would go into like, yeah, then what do you want to do when you have these people? I don't know what you would want to do with them, but these characteristics, they're not nuanced to us. Like, there are certain things that just aren't possible. But I think for sure, if we can look into this person's history and find that they have some aptitude for violence, then maybe they shouldn't have guns. I'm not saying you need to put them in a home or put them in a place but if he was able to purchase those guns legally, maybe he shouldn't be able to. I just don't think those connections are beside themselves. And dare I say, I don't believe that it's coming from a place of malice, because while I'm singling out information that may specify a certain group of people, there was no demographics other than economic that I could use as a point of reference. And economic status affects people, although people of color affects more people of color in this nation. It still affects white people. It still affects minorities. It just affects them at disproportionate rates. And I think there's something to be said about it's really the incel culture. It's that anger and aggression towards people who are different than them. It's that aggression towards women. It's that aggression towards any type of liberal politics or wokeness that they seem to fear. This aggression towards change. That is something that I'm very concerned about. But like I said, I don't have the answers. I do have an answer, and it's in a fable in a comic book in my mind. And as far as I'm concerned, I think my comic book character would be awesome. You can read about it here and let me know. But let's get into the rest of the show. Clap it. No more sad shit. Well, a little bit more sad shit, but like no more heavy shit. And I'm still looking for some good news. Ron Wood, I saw you was trying to bring me some good news. I appreciate that. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Anything you can do to support the channel is great. As you can see, we're at 601 subscribers.